Welcome to This Lyric That Truth podcast.
Yay.
And I am so excited to introduce you to my guest today, Dave Frey from Sidewalk Prophets. Are you impressed I got your pronunciation of your last name right?
Yeah, it is a common occurrence. My family's German. Used to be Frei, like if you went over to Germany,
Frey.
but it's Frey now, which is super Frey. You know, everybody sees that and it looks Frey every time, but it is Frey. So thank you for that. Thank you, Ceci.
I was telling Jen that I have family in California.
Yeah.
That operate a biodynamic winery, and it's Frey Vineyards.
Okay, so you got it down.
So I asked her, I was like,
we have a
Frey or Frey?
The Freys are in Indiana and California. Those are the two places where I've run into my cousins are out, like distant cousins are out there. So
they're my distant cousins too.
Yeah.
Who knows?
There you go. We might be family. Sisters. Good to meet you, cuz.
Well, welcome, cuz.
Yeah,
I'm so glad to have you. And I know you're out touring around, checking in with different radio stations. We're so grateful to have you. Grateful to be able to play your music over the last many years. What is something that no one would know about you that you've never shared with anybody?
I've never shared with anyone? Oh, man. Let's see. So, let's see. Man, that's
hidden talent.
A hidden talent.
I'm
I'm really good at this one. You know, lollipop, lollipop, lollipop. And that is the key to shutting down a crying baby for like maybe like a couple months, because they're just so in awe and enamored by that pop. And my son is now learning to do it. Like, he's 4 and he's going and he's like figuring out the lips and the movements. But that's a good one. But yeah, I the one that a lot of people do know, when we have technical difficulties at our show, I'm a huge cartoon fan. I grew up a cartoon fan, and Animaniacs was one of my favorites. And they had this songs, The Nations of the World. And so I can sing The Nations of the World circa 1993. I think it's changed quite a bit. Yugoslavia is still in there, stuff like that. But it's like United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic, Dominican, Cuba, Caribbean, Greenland, El Salvador, too, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Venezuela, Honduras, Guyana, and still Guatemala, Bolivia, then Argentina, Ecuador, Chile, Brazil, Costa Rica, Belize, Nicaragua, Bermuda, Bahamas, Bahamas, San Juan, Paraguay, Uruguay, Suriname, Fitch, Guyana, Barbados, and Guam, and he got on and on. A little tongue-tied there, but yeah, there's like 4 more verses of it. But
how can you incorporate that into your next album?
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Something equally as cool.
We'd have to get the rights to the Animaniacs lyrics. But
I used to think it was cool that I could do the states in alphabetical order.
Yes, Alabama. You know? My brother knows that song really well.
So. But everybody knows that one. So it's not as impressive as
the Nations was like, I would literally sit in my babysitter when we'd come home. We'd come to my babysitters after school, and they would have cartoons going, and every day they would play that at the beginning, and I would learn it little by little until I just had it in my soul, you know. Music. Beautiful.
So you started out your whole life, loved music. Tell me about that.
I grew up with a record player, Fisher-Price record player, that still works to this day.
You still have it.
My son uses it with our vinyl records that I've received from my mom and dad, have passed down, the Beatles and Led Zeppelin, the Monkees, all these, eclectic things. And my son still can use it in his room. But Michael Jackson's Thriller was my first record that I ever heard, and just I was like, Grandma, do you like Michael Jackson? And my grandma would say, no, but I like that you like him, and I'd sing and sing and sing, and Mom would never shut me up, and I'm so grateful for that. But music's always kind of been there in the DNA, I think.
How did a love of music and playing Thriller on your Fisher-Price record player turn into being in a Christian band?
I mean,
Anderson University, right?
Yeah, Anderson University, amazing school full of musical heritage, from the Gaithers, Sandy Patty, Stephen Curtis Chapman went there, on and on and on. We were even on a dorm floor with Jeff Owen, who's lead guitarist of 10th Avenue North, was on our dorm floor with us. John McLaughlin, who's been in the movie Enchanted, incredible singer, songwriter. It just, all this music was surrounding. So I knew as an incredible garage band lead singer that I could go to Anderson University and be surrounded by it. But I also was pretty practical. My mom wanted to make sure that I, graduated with a degree that I could put to use,
like every good mother does.
So, yes, as mothers do. And so I was an English ed major, and I love English. I love teaching. I taught for one semester and loved it. But But knowing that, little did I know that God had an incredible journey and plan. Running into my buddy Ben, who he's a little off screen over here, but he's our manager. We started the band 2001, the month after September 11th. In October of 2001, we played for this little like competition, and if you won, your dorm room received free root beer keg and pizza. And we were like it was the last night. The Olympics were all determining by this musical, it was almost like that, a sitcom. Like we're like, if you win this musical thing, the entire floor will get pizza and root beer. And so we were being cheered on, and it was a lot of fun. Ben and I played a song, and we won. And, little did I know that it would lead to, what is it? 2025, right? 24 years of knowing each other. 23 and a half years ago.
I mean, what was it about that though? Did it just give you confidence that you had something and other people acknowledged
100%.
it?
Like we started from there. We started writing, just sitting on the dorm room floors and putting a microphone on a ceiling, duct taping it up there because we didn't have anything.
Sure.
And it would hang it down and just play around it. And that led to us being the student-led record label. We had an opportunity to do that, and we got to record at Bill and Gloria Gaither Studios and have a college record that no one will ever hear, and you're not allowed to because it is just, it was us figuring things out, but we had a lot of fun doing that too. And and we moved to Nashville on a hope and a prayer after college, and in hopes that God would open some doors, and he had closed some others. And here we are today, sitting 23 and a half years later.
Speak about the closed doors.
Okay.
Because it's easy to have you in the podcast studio, huge success. We can sing all your songs. And you were, you won a contest in college and got pizza and root beer for your dorm. But what?
You know how people have issues? I've never had that. No, I'm just kidding. Absolutely.
My life is just been a dream.
It's just been perfect. No, I think that, when I was young, my parents divorced. That was always a critical moment of life. And before I went to college, I didn't sing in front of people because I was just so shy and introverted. I would sing to my Super Mario Brothers poster because he always smiled. And so that was a first catalyst of this brokenness. Led God to just remind me that, hey, today's what we got, and he still loved me through it. My parents, I'm blessed to still get to see both of them at the holiday anytime I go back home. But all that being said, that sent me off to college, knowing that, man, there's something in there. And then in college, I dated the wrong person, is the long story short, and we were on the verge of engagement, and it was. All my friends were saying, here's all there's 52 red flags. Okay. And I could see maybe one of them, and I was like, yeah, it'll be all right. And,
it was kind of pink. It wasn't really red.
Pink,
it wasn't
very,
really glaring.
Yeah. Maybe maroon leaning to the worst.
Reddish.
Yeah. It was very red sometimes. But all that being said, there's this thing where you're trying to figure out who you are, and if somebody tells you who you are, sometimes it's easier to just go along with that. And so, we went on our first thing. Ben and I were still playing coffee shops, and we went on this tour, if you can call it that. We lovingly refer to it now as the tour of death, because all these things fell apart while we were on this tour. But as the falling apart happened, it was almost like Shrek saying, I'm an onion, and you peel back the layers. All the layers fell off. I came back home, and my engagement had imploded, and rightfully so. Like, all these years later, being married to the right person and having 2 kids, all this, thank God for the implosion. But there was none of that in me at that moment, because college had just ended. I was ready to go back to Indiana and teach, possibly, and start this life married to this person. And God said,
was over.
Let me take this 2x4 and smack you with it in the face and stop you from making the biggest mistake of your life. And that was really hard, but it was like, what do we got to lose? We were working at Sears. Ben got me a job at Sears. I was he was in electronics, which is cool. I was in appliances. So if you need a washing machine, I don't know anything about them, but I would try to sell you one. But we moved to Nashville on a hope and a prayer, knowing that all these doors had been shut. So why not step out in faith?
How do you maintain a friendship that goes all the way back to college?
I mean, it's working together. I think that to be honest, like I'm learning even now about. I'm in therapy. I just started therapy a couple of weeks ago, and he was my therapist has been great. He's talking about shame, how we always assume shame is bad, but there is a level that is healthy, and in that level you'll find your gifts as well as your limitations. And so I think with Ben, God ran him into my life, thankfully for my roommate who said, "Hey, my roommate can sing. Come check it out." And we started this friendship. But um, I think that there are some gifts that I have, that I know I have, and that Ben absolutely doesn't. And on the other end of the spectrum, I would not be here without the gifts that he has in keeping the plate spinning, the band afloat. There's tours we're getting ready to go out on, new album releases. There's this, that, and the other, and that stuff wigs me out. And I, but I'm so grateful that not only are we friends and have families now and kids that can play together, but also this idea of man, your strengths have got me here, and vice versa. So.
I feel that way about the podcast producer, Abby.
Yeah.
Because I am the face of it. I'm on
Sure.
the clips. I'm
100%.
doing the interview, and it wouldn't even be off the ground if she wasn't 100%. Emailing, confirming, getting all the details, bringing in the waters, and nothing.
Can you imagine?
It's not even a thing.
Like answering all those emails.
No, I wouldn't have a podcast because I would forget to respond to it. Right. Sure. So it's so important that,
very important.
You see somebody on stage or whatever, and they get all the glory. There's people behind them that are doing the hard work.
But and wives too. Yes. Like Ben's wife, I'll dote on Carrie, because when we moved to Nashville, we didn't have jobs. Like we were trying to get jobs, but she was a teacher, and that huge teacher salary that teachers receive, of course, allowed me to stay in their house for free.
Lucrative.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
So that as well. It's like all these folks that you'll never know that allowed us to get here and still do. We call our fans a great big family, because when the bus breaks down, who's there to get you? Like people locally they're like, I'll come get you. I'll come take you to the venue. I'll go get you breakfast. And that love that we felt from our fans reiterizes that, we are the family of God, and we're helping each other out. And that's so important. There's people you'll may never meet, but absolutely have put us here.
Talk about some of the songs that have been on the radio that we would have all been singing along to. And then I want to hear about your new song and your new album too.
Yeah. I mean, I think our biggest hit still to this day might still be the words I would say. That was a song that we had written, and it was like, what would your parents say if they could say one thing? And it was be strong in the Lord, never give up hope. You're going to do great. I mean, that just falls out. And the simplicity of that. It was one of our first writes in Nashville, and Ben and I have written every song together, usually with another person in the room. And at that day, it was our buddy Sam, and he was just cut from the same cloth. He might as well have been our third, member that's never been credited. But like that song just kind of was in our hearts, waiting to be unleashed. And
be strong in the Lord and never give up hope. You're gonna do great things. I already know God's got his hand on you, so don't live life in fear. Forgive and forget, but don't forget why you're here. Take your time and pray. These are the words I would say.
Sometimes when you're writing your first record, you have all this to get into, and it makes it hard for like a second album. And so with our song Live Like That, it was a similar thing where now what do I talk about? I've done here's all these songs that we've been kind of working on for years. And with Live Like That, we started to think back upon how we got to where we were. And I started to think about my high school history teacher. Like I didn't know that he was a Christian. I didn't know he loved Jesus. But I knew he was incredible. I knew he had this passion in him that you couldn't even pin down. Like everyone loved Mr. McGrath. And Mr. McGrath at the end of senior year, gave me a book, his favorite book. And he wrote in it, Dave, I've been in awe of how Christ has used you so far. Can't wait to see what he does next. And he wasn't maybe allowed to say it in the public school, but as soon as I graduated, he was like, hey, by the way, like, this is where my strength comes from. So like that stuff led me to think, man, I'm surrounded by a cloud of witnesses. That's what Hebrews says. And that's what Live Like That's all about. Those clouds of people that have led you to God's arms, even if you don't even realize it. So
I wanna live like that and give it all I have, so that everything I say and do points to you.
But yeah, so those are a couple songs, and thank God for Live Like That, because my wife's favorite song is Live Like That, and I don't think I would have met her without that song. So yeah, it's pretty cool how God ties all that together.
How did you meet her?
Good old Winter Jam. I don't know if you've been to Winter Jam in Grand Rapids, but we
it's
met.
Always in January.
Yep.
It is always 12
like,
degrees.
Let's do it. You think Winter Jam would go to Texas and Florida, but
then
no.
it's like $15 at the door, and you got to stand outside for 3 hours to get in.
And we would love.
Can you guys come like in May?
We would go out there before the show, because there's some people that get turned away, and we would go out and play for them when we were first starting, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, with
she was a groupie, or
no, and that's the beauty. She didn't know her mom had responded to one of our Thanksgiving emails, and her mom said, hey, my daughter's turning 25. I'm surprised her. She met John Piper when she turned 21. Would love for her to meet you guys. She loves your music, loves your songs. She's never stood in line, never wanted to be a groupie, never wanted this, that, or the other, but she would, it would surprise her and make this mama's heart proud if you just take a moment. And so I'm coming. Winter Jam's nuts. Like, you got to do this and this and this, and then you got to find a shower in a cold hockey arena minor league bathroom. And like, so I'm like showering, finishing up, and then our road manager is like, hey, this girl's really pretty. Don't talk about the Cubs too much. Don't talk about Disney and your obsession. Go out there and don't be yourself, basically. And so he pushes me out there, and she is stunning. And I talked to her friend because I was so intimidated.
Because she was that pretty.
Yeah, and she thought I liked her friend. So long story short, she had given me a beautiful note. And that note like laid it all out, that she loved our songs, and it was enough information that I could Facebook stalk her, find her. Yeah. And so at intermission, I brought her back and just talked one-on-one with her. And that was the moment.
That's like a movie.
Yeah. And what's funny is, as she's walking there, this buddy of mine that was in Matthew West band, he goes, Dave, that Disney CD you burnt me was off the chain, dude. What deep cuts. And I was like, I guess the bag's out. Like, I love Disney. I hope that's okay. And so, but long story short, yeah, it was awesome that her mom responded to that email that we had sent out to our, great big family at Thanksgiving. And just so happens that God weaves this perfect, the one he had created for us to be together.
So you had the relationship in college where you got smacked with a 2x4. Like, that's not happening.
God's like, wait,
and
hold
then
on.
you meet this beautiful woman at Winter Jam.
I got a magical
What
story.
city was it?
It was in Chicago's Rosemont, right by O'Hare Airport. But yeah, that's our special magical airport. I guess.
How long have you been married?
7 years. And
you've got a 4-year-old and then
a 1.5-year-old little girl.
Oh wow,
yeah.
You're in the thick of it.
She's amazing, man. She was yesterday trying to explain. I went to the dentist. I came back and she's like, "Day, mommy, nana, and bruh say no." And I was like, Mom was cooking food and your brother said no to you? Day. And like, so it was just, she broke the whole day down in a beautiful, beautiful way. I'm loving it.
That's so a boy and a girl.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that fun?
Perfect.
Wonderful. And you have a new album and a new song.
Yes, we're so
excited.
Talk
to me about the new one you're excited about.
Man, our album is named "Looking Up" is the title of the album. Came out at Valentine's Day, so just recently. And if folks are needing a belated Valentine's gift, it's the perfect romantic gift. The Sidewalk Prophets record. But no, you'll find everything on it. But it's really our song "Looking Up" is our current single, and it's kind of the centerpiece of the album. We did it alongside Megan Danielle, who is an American Idol. She runnered up, which is ridiculous because her voice, like, I love singers, and this girl gives me chills when I get to sing next to her, and that rarely happens. It's like Brandy Carlisle, Whitney Houston, and Dolly Parton all mashed together in this awesome. And so we were so honored that she came alongside us to do "Looking Up" with us. But
sometimes I think things work out better for the runners up than the
It sure
winners.
seems like that, doesn't it? Yeah.
So
yeah.
it might be
outside of for every
it might
Kelly
work
Clarkson,
out.
there's a Fantasia, or, all these people
Totally.
that came in second or
Yeah.
whatever. So, but man, so
Or Lauren
grateful.
Daigle.
Daigle, come on
She
now.
didn't even
Yeah.
get top 10.
Isn't
or
that
something?
funny? There's so many
come
like
on
that.
now.
So many stories like that.
So can you sing me? Well, first of all,
Yeah.
tell me about the inspiration for writing it.
Sure, yeah.
And then I would love for you to sing a little bit.
Yeah,
of it.
we, I think that it's a song about strength and where it comes from. It's kind of a story song, and really, it's about those rock bottom moments. I talked about my engagement already, and like, what did that feel like? That gut punch after my parents' divorce. After that, when I was at my lowest, I was amazed at how much I felt love and felt like, man, I've lost everything. Like there's no way to get out of this. And yet here come my friends. Here comes Jesus to show me that he still cares about me, whether it be pastors or just little notes of encouragement, signs of encouragement. And that idea that at our rock bottom, we're still not alone. In fact, we're probably closer to Christ. And I don't know why it always takes rock bottom to get us sometimes to engage with that and remember, oh, I still do have a hope. But I'm telling you, at your mundane days, those days you're just going through, if you stop and you take a moment to realize how ridiculously blessed we are, we should be thanking God every moment of the day. And so, whether it be Superman yourself, is one of the lyrics says, it's enough to make Superman's knees hit the ground. We all have those Supermen and women in our life, superheroes to us.
Sing me a part of it.
Yeah, it says, I'm trying to I gotta think of the chorus.
I'm no American Idol, so I'm not going to come alongside of you and help you out with that.
Yeah. So the holes in his jeans, old shoes on his feet, at a cardboard sign at a red light. I got a few dollars out and rolled my window down. Said, I hope this helps you get by. He said, man, I won't tell my whole story, but I'll tell you this much. There's a long list of roads to rock bottom, just a handful of ways to climb out. Yeah, I've been hit with some punches, strong enough to make Superman's knees hit the ground. Some things will make you start praying, whether you believe in God or not. If you get low enough, you'll start looking up. So, and then Megan comes in and takes it to another level. So,
whew, I need a minute after that.
Oh, I think I started it a little high.
I wouldn't know. I can't carry a tune in a bucket, as my grandfather used to say to me. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you for writing the music that keeps us encouraged. Being on the side of the microphone that's like hitting play on your stuff. And the feedback that I get when people call me in the studio, they'll always say, this lyric, I was going through this thing, and I heard that Sidewalk Prophets song, and it brought me out of the place that I was in, and it reminded me of who God is. And so don't underestimate that. You'll never get to meet all of the people that hear this. I mean, there's a certain number of people that will go to Winter Jam and be able to go to the concert. But there's thousands and thousands and thousands that need that reminder when they hit rock bottom.
I'm always humbled by those. That's my favorite part, I think, about what we do is you think about these teachers, these workers, all these nurses, doctors, like they sometimes will get thanked, but we're so spoiled because we get to hear stories like that. And thank you for relaying those stories. Thank you because man, that's the kingdom stuff that you're like, hey, I wrote that song about this, but God is saying, no, I want to use it here. We have a song on the album called Father, Let It Be. And I got we just had a little preview of it. And this man called, he said, hey, I just got diagnosed with cancer today. And that song just so happened to be on our Spotify, just popped up. And it's not a coincidence. I want you to know that I cried, I prayed, I thought about it, and here I am, going to, walk hand in hand with Jesus through whatever this is. And that's the stuff that you just can't can't hardly fathom in your mind that God would use a song like that.
Through all of the doors that are open.
Yeah.
From winning a contest for a
from
college dorm.
pizza and root beer to,
to all of the things along the way and the doors that are closed or feel like it's the end of the road.
Sure.
To then turning around and, album after album.
Yeah.
And so thanks for being faithful with your gifts.
Honored, Ceci. Thank you for, letting us be even a small part of the ministry you guys do. It's absolutely amazing.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of This Lyric, That Truth. If you were inspired by today's conversation, feel free to share it with a friend and leave a 5-star review. If you're looking for more hope and encouragement in your music, download the Joy Media mobile app for free wherever you download your apps. I'm Ceci, and I so look forward to sharing more in-depth conversations with you as we talk about the lyrics that encourage us and shape our lives. Meet me back here next week for another episode of This Lyric, That Truth.